Growing up back home, everybody has to have a nickname. The nicknames do not usually come from your actual name, but there's some kind of relationship. But this is just a name that sounded great for my friends instead of calling me Victor. So that name grew up with me, and when Ashley and I decided to open the business, we found the name quite catchy. We're at Vizos, African bar and restaurant, opened in about 2019.
So I'm Ashley, and I moved here, I think, in 2011, and then my mom's here, family's here, so that was good. Went to high school in here, went to tech, graduated with my master's in accounting.
Well, I'm Victor. I moved here 2015 from Houston, then I transferred to Texas Tech, and that's where I got my bachelor's in petroleum engineering.
What made y'all get into doing a restaurant? If you've got petroleum engineering and accounting.
For us, the exposure for African food in West Texas was very limited. So we thought that bringing that in, exposing the people of West Texas to African culture through food and drinks, it would be an idea that would be worthwhile.
Just sharing our culture with the rest of the world, basically. And also, when you're here from far away, you come, you meet different foods you've never tasted before. So that helps to people who are homesick, people who don't have access to cook the things they want to cook, or where they miss home, they get to experience that here. So, and you get to meet different people. You get to meet Africans when you come, you get to meet Americans when you come. It's just it's a good vibe.
That's the thing, life is just, it happens around food.
Right.
So that's so exciting. That's the thing we love at United is we get to do life with our guests every day. And y'all are doing the exact same thing. You do life with your guests around food. And I love that y'all bring that to West Texas, especially because we're very meat and potatoes, it's very, very straightforward. And so to have more flavors and to experience a culture maybe you don't know anything about, that's something that's important. And we love that we can help bring those cultures around, and that's what we want to do. We want life to happen around the table because it already does. What are the flavors and the things that people can expect when they're here or when they're cooking from this culture? What's that flavor palette look like?
Most African food is spicy.
Okay,
right?
okay.
But we make it in such a way you place your order and you determine what spice level you can tolerate, or if you can tolerate any spice level at all.
Just because it's not spicy doesn't mean it doesn't have flavor.
Yes, the spiciness, the heat content of it is different from the flavor.
I'd love to know more of the history of food and the importance of it in your world, and so we can understand it a little better.
So growing up, I grew up with my grandma. Wake up super early, we get the meals going for the morning. So it's usually one big pot of food. I help her cooking it, and that's really how I learned how to cook. No culinary school, nothing. It was just basically growing up and cooking with my grandma.
What are the things that you're hoping people learn when they come in here? Not just the food is incredible and amazing, and we will be back, but what are you trying to show people and teach people?
That were very similar and just true food. Honestly, a lot of people would like for our food to be super different. And we do have some very different food. But we have rice in our menu. We have vegetable, you just had spinach. It's just cooked differently. But that's what brings us all together, because it's been put together differently for sure. There's super diverse foods, but in the core of it, it's very similar. Our food, our backgrounds and everything is not as different as we would like to think.
Yeah.
It's when you hear, African food, you're like, what's that? It's not that deep. It's really just food that you have just put together differently. Right. Yes.
We're doing this today because we're talking about Black History Month and the importance of it and understanding why we have Black History Month. Y'all talk to me about why it is so important and why it is something we need to give its time and give it the place that it deserves.
When it comes to Black culture, right, we want to be able to separate the stereotypes from the actual reality, right? And that is why Black History Month is very important, because it puts a spotlight of those realities of the Black culture.
Right.
And we're honored to be able to experience that back home and back here, because what happens is we show the good parts of the culture, because every culture has both good and bad parts, right?
Right.
But the stereotypes usually focus on the bad parts.
Right.
That's not the narrative that we want to be out
Right.
there. You want to be able to see the good parts of the culture and be able to appreciate the culture for what it is. And when we're talking about Black culture, I'll give you an example. Like the way we dance, the kind of music we listen to, those aspects about Black culture are very good because it connects to our origins.
Yeah.
And that is what we believe that Black History Month highlights for us.
How has it been having Lubbock as your backyard?
The people are so receptive. Of course, you're always gonna, like Victor just said, you have the good parts of a culture and you have the bad parts of your culture. We always say this. We're always like, thank you, Lubbock. Honestly, thank God for putting us here. Because he was in Houston, he moved to Lubbock. I was in Lubbock and we both went to Tech. We met each other and we got to open this amazing place here. And the people have received us since we opened in 2019. It's about to be 5 years. So it's one of those things where it's like, how do we get so lucky?
So one of the things that we continue to appreciate the community is because we have so many kind-hearted people around, right? This we had from a client. We don't know the person. We've had this for 3 years. This was dropped in front of the door with a note.
No, actually, they slightly opened the door, put it in there, and ran away.
We have this in front of the door. This is the first piece of artwork that everybody that walks in see.